Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. The creation of the world. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. So if you can see, this Bible has really great footnotes. They have cross-reference sections. If you guys want me to go to different verses and chapters throughout the Bible, I can reply to your comments. So here is a summary of chapter 1, verse 1 to chapter 2, verse 3. The account of creation lays the foundation of Israel's worldview, setting out the hierarchy of God, human beings, and the rest of creation. This carefully structured presentation emphasizes the transcendent nature of God, who exists apart from all that he creates. The layout of the narrative underlines the orderly nature of creation and the structures that God puts in place. Genesis 1 does not attempt to tell us in detail how God manufactured the physical world and everything in it. Rather, it seeks to explain the hierarchy of relationships and boundaries established by God. Behind the simplicity of presentation, structured around 7 days, the text does not tell us everything about the process by which God created the world. Even so, it affirms certain important truths about the creation of the world, including the fact that God directly made all things, that everything he made was originally very good, and that men and women are made in his image. So it goes on to, in the footnotes, to also describe chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning, God. The Hebrew word for God, the first subject of Genesis in the Bible, is plural to denote his majesty. There is no other God. It cross-references others as well. I could look those up if you guys want me to go into those details as well in the comments. He is truth, the basis for all sound knowledge. God is personal. He speaks and acts. So this is in reference to the first sentence here. Going back to the word created, God created the heavens and the earth. This translates a Hebrew word reserved for God's creative activity alone. Linguistically possible, though less likely is the translation, when God began to create the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void. God's creative activity is not merely the ordering of pre-existent matter, like an artisan fashioning a product. Other passages clearly teach that the universe was created ex nihilo, which is a Latin word for out of nothing, and that only God is eternal and transcendent. Not even the darkness exists apart from God's creative word. While the narrative here is fully consistent with the doctrine of creation, ex nihilo, the emphasis falls on God's progressive ordering and filling of a word that is both formless and empty. The heavens and the earth. This compound of opposites signifies the organized universe. Chapter 1, verse 2, the earth. So you can see here it references the earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. So the word the earth, explained here, the earth, the primordial earth is lightless and landless. Neither the origins of darkness and the abyss nor the origin of Satan is explained in Genesis. Their beginnings are a mystery, but only God is external. In the new heaven and the new earth, there will be no sea of darkness. It goes to explain what the next part of that sentence was in 1:2. Earth was without form and void. The description signifies that as yet unordered and unfilled creation. Some suggest that verse 1 and 2 refer to separate creative acts separated by a span of time. They argue that the initial creation fell into a desolate condition, perhaps because of the fall of Satan, and that the Hebrew word here translated was should be rendered became. This view, popularly called the gap theory. I'm sure you guys have heard about the gap theory, which is very doubtful, however, because the proposed translation became is unlikely in the context, and because the description without form and void refers to more naturally to a creation yet to be ordered and filled rather than to one that had fallen into despair. Spirit of God. God's Spirit gives life. When he withdraws his Spirit, life ceases. He continues to give life and to withdraw life. Ooh, it's powerful. The Spirit is active in the building of temples, the cosmos, the tabernacle, Christ, the church. And then it references to other sections of the Bible, the personality of the Holy Spirit. Hovering over the waters, hovering eagle-like over the primordial deep, the Almighty Spirit makes the earth into a habitation for human beings. Verse 1, or chapter 1, 3 through 31, verse 31, the creation progresses over the triads of days looking back respectively to without form and void. Day 1 refers to light. Day 4 refers to the luminaries, which is light as well. Day 2, sky, water. Day 5, fish, fowl. Day 3, land, vegetation. Day 6, animals and humans. If you guys want me to look those up as well for you, I can do that too. In the first triad, God gives the earth form by separating the light of day from the darkness of night, the sea below from the clouds above, and the dry land with vegetation from the sea. In the second, he fills these realms. Each triad, moving from sky to earth, progresses from a single creative act to one creative act with these two aspects, and to two separate creative acts, each culminating in the earth, bringing forth. The pattern of each day is similar: an announcement, God said, a command, let there be, a report, and it was so, an evaluation, it was good, and a chronological framework, the first day. Chapter 1, verse 3, God said. So we go, and God said. God said, God's free act of creation through the divine word signifies that the universe is not an emanation or part of the divine being, thus ruling out all forms of pantheism. God is all. He is identified with his creation. Though creation is not part of God's being, all creation is utterly dependent on God for its existence, for he creates and sustains all that is by the power of his own being. Let there be. God's will is irresistible. It is carried out by the divine. I'll continue on to the next video for chapter 1, verse 4.